what I wanted to speak about this week was an Indian, bissel londish, but something gave Moshiach. If there's going to be a chiyuv when Moshiach comes to bring a korban chatas for an aveda that was done b'shegig b'zman hazeh. Interesting discussion. I think I was doing research on it.
The Gemara says,
yeah. So you have a Gemara. It's a Gemara Masechta Shabbos. It says that Rabbi Shmuel had gesagt, the Chachamim made a gezeira, you're not allowed to read Friday night to the light of a candle. Why? Because you might come and tilt the candle. In those days, it was called a lamp, whatever they call it. Didn't have a candle like I have today. It wasn't even a lamp, and you had here a keli, you put in oil, and then it came to a point, and on the edge there was a wick. And you sometimes tilted it should burn brighter as a shiloh for maver, whatever it might be. So the Chachamim made a gzeira, you shouldn't read unless you have someone else watching you, in order that you shouldn't come to tilt it and Shabbos. So Rabbi Shmuel... Huh?
Huh?
Kosher לדבר דברותינו בשבס רץ. Das ist der Kosher.
Nicht Likris, Dabe. Dabe, I think it's the Dabe.
The Dabe is an answer, also to read from it.
No, the Dabe place, and I think it's to speak, not so much to read. So, Rabbi Shmuel says he's not worried about it. He's not, so what happened? So it says, two versions in the Gemara. One opinion is that Rabbi Shmuel was reading Friday night and he almost was about to and he caught himself. And another opinion says, Rav Nosson says that he tilted it and he wrote al Pinkasa, he wrote on his chais, whatever you want to call it, his diary, the Beis Hamikdash will be built, I'm going to bring I'll bring a Chata Shmeina, fatty, what's a Pshat Chata Shmeina, Nefsher Balish, but it's nicht negate to the discussion here. So, he's going to bring a fatty carbon Chata, the sin offering for if you did a sin by mistake, did Aveda by mistake, you have to bring a carbon Chatas. From that Gemara is clear that if a person does an Aveda by mistake in today's day and age, L'chayda would seem pretty clear, he has to bring a carbon for it when Moshiach will come. So other Gemaras also...
More than one.
I'm saying, there's other Gemaras also, there's a Gemara in Masechta Yuma. The Gemara, this thing is quoted in the Yerushalmi and also in a few places, that it says somebody that by mistake ate chaylev bisman hazeh. And they allow certain types of animal, you can't eat, So if you ate chaylev, b'shoigig, come over, he ate prohibited chaylev, today's day and age by mistake, so it doesn't say he has to write down. They're just taking for granted that he's writing down. It says, what should he write down? He shouldn't write down, I have to bring a carbon chatas, I ate chaylev. He should write, if let's say he ate punta kazayis of chaylev, he should write kazayis beinini achalti. I ate an average kazayis. Why? Because maybe when Moshiach will come, maybe the Beis Hamikdash will be built in his days. And the Sanhedrin will once again be ma'ayin in the shiurim. And they'll be ma'ayin in the shiurim, and they're going to say that really the kazayis is supposed to be a little bit bigger. This is pum pshat, and that is a separate discussion. They're going to say that the kazayis is really supposed to be a little bit bigger. And therefore, if he only ate he only ate the regular kazayis, he wasn't over an aveda on which he has to bring a carbon to the Beis Hamikdash. So if he only ate a regular kazayis, and Sanhedrin will later say that the kazayis is bigger, so he can't bring a carbon. Since he can't bring a carbon, if he does bring a carbon, he's bringing chulun azar. He's not allowed to just bring an animal as a carbon when you're not obligated to bring the carbon. So from this Gemara also is very clear. The Gemara is not just from the Gemara is not only the Gemara is mashma you have to write. It's like taking for granted that you're writing down every chaveda that you did by mistake. Alamai, it's saying that you have to make sure to know what to write. To write down I ate the kazayis. Don't just write I ate chaylev. I didn't have because you should know right what size you ate kazayis.
It's an amazing concept, this whole thing, because that's what do you say? There's Tizak.
Hey, minute, good. Halt on him. Warte. Now, so from those Gemaras is mashma l'chayda clearly that you have to write down. The Rebbe says that the Rebbe discussed this Gemara a number of times. There's one famous sikha that I'm going to speak about. Vav Tishrei Tovshim Amalef by the Farbrengen. Ich denke nicht, ob es können erzählen. The Rebbe spoke a ganz ariches about this. But the Rebbe says there, and it's also in the Kotei Sichas, there's a few others, the Rebbe says that he never heard and was never told that you find, the truth is it is brought down in Sfarim. It's brought down in the Shalah, it's brought down, the Shari Tshuva brings it down. But the Poel Mamish, there's a number of Sfarim that actually do bring it down.
As guides do, or in
from those Sfarim, it seems to be mashma that it's like even Kmat Chiyuv to write it down. Some Sfarim do definitely bring it down, but the Poel Mamish, the Rambam doesn't bring it down, the Shulchan Aruch doesn't bring it down. The Magen Avram does bring it down, but the way he brings it down, the truth is the Rebbe mentioned it the way it's in the old print. You'll soon see. But the way this Magen Avram was printed for many years, it says, Magen Avram is then the Siman Shimon Medal. Speaking there about if somebody by mistake was Michal Shabbos, said he should fast, he's fast, whatever it might be, he gives tzedakah. The Rebbe brings down more or less the halachas. Magen Avram adds there that it says in Masechta Shabbos, Daf Yud Beis, the Lashon Harogil in the older prints, you see that it's a story with someone that was over in Aveda B'Shogig, and he wrote on his pinkas that when the Beis HaMikdash will be built, he'll bring a Karban Mechatas. The Lashon there that Rebbe said is mashma, he said, the Magen Avram, which does bring it down, is mashma, the right way he writes the story with someone that did an Aveda B'Shogig and he wrote it on because he's not mashma, he's telling you have to do it. It's mashma that there was someone that did it. My nafkamina to me, what difference does it make to me? What it's trying to tell me is that I should realize how important it is to worry about the sins that I did, even if I'm not going to actually, even if it doesn't mean that practically I have to write it down and I'm going to have to bring a Karban Chatas, but nevertheless, I should realize the importance of doing tshuva for my Avedas. And the truth is, if you look in the new prints now, the new Shulchan Aruch, that they printed now, they'll tell you, they write it in the older prints, the first prints, and the way they have it now in the new print, it's a dozen, Maduras Friedman. No, Magen Avram I'm talking about. I'm talking about Magen Avram. So there it says, Isa b'shav tafi beishe, not Maisa be'echad, doesn't say she'echad over Aveda. Doesn't say that she'echad, says she'im over Aveda. That if a person did an Aveda, not the Kosva B'Pinkase, and he wrote it, Yichtava B'Pinkase, he should write it. Yeah, and the older you'll see in the new print, Maduras Friedman, whatever it's called, of the new Shulchan Aruch, of the Mechaber Shulchan Aruch, Magen Avram, at Siman Shin Lamed Ad, I think it's Sivkat Lamed Gimel, towards the end you'll see. So there, the Lashon is Mashma Taka, more of a Chiyuv, that you should. Beizayf and Sheyiyah, whatever the Magen Avram, whichever nusach you want to go by, with Poel Mamish, the Rebbe says that the Rebbe doesn't bring it down. And the Pashas, the Rebbe could have seen the
They learned that as a right, the Magen Avram holds that way? Or you're saying that?
No, I'm saying the Rebbe's whole word.
I understand it. Because the Rebbe's what still stands, even what it says, where your nusach still stands.
Why?
Because the Rebbe is still saying that the Gemara over there
the Rebbe said that from the Lashon, the Magen Avram, that he said that there was that the Magen Avram is kilu saying someone did it. The way it's printed is she'echad aver aveda v'kasav b'bim
the Rebbe's
kasav.
raya still is. Nobody knows how
Oh,
to do it.
good. The Rebbe fragt, the Magen and the Rebbe sagt, gefindt, mitzvahs bringt das.
Yeah, bringt
But the Rebbe says in that Lashon, in that place itself, it's mashma that it's not, he's not writing it lahalacha.
In other words, even if when he quotes the Gemara, he's also not telling you Allah, you should do that. He wants to be on the point.
The Rebbe is madgish.
I understand.
That sikha, the Rebbe is madgish the way he writes it. The Rebbe is madgish a few things. First of all, he says that he doesn't say it, he writes it as behemshach to something else, not as inim b'fnei atzmui. But the Rebbe says that it's the Rebbe, whatever, you could still tie-chain the Rebbe sikha, after b'doich ha'kibun the nusach that we have now. But the Rebbe was focusing on the nusach that is written in a very ambiguous way, in a very indirect way. There's someone that was over in Aveda. Now, B'Poel Mamish again, the Rebbe doesn't bring it down. The Rebbe, I would say that Rebbe Stam saw the older prince as well. Because the older prince that wasn't too much before the Rebbe to say that But the Alter Rebbe doesn't bring that. Not only that, the Rebbe says a very interesting thing. The Alter Rebbe himself, there's a Seder Achnasa Shabbos that the Rebbe printed in the Siddur about being careful not to do malacha, bein hashmoshes. There's a Mahadura Kam. If you look, in the new print of the Shulchan Aruch, they have it. Some they have it in the older print, but in the new print of the Shulchan Aruch, Chelik Beis, the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch is the last page. Mamish, the last page before right before the back, they have the Maftecha. So the last page is an earlier Mahadura of the Seder Achnasa Shabbos of the Alter Rebbe. Just a few lines. And there the Alter Rebbe writes to be careful not to malacha bin hashmoshes. And he says, and if you do, in order to avoid chasha, kares skilla, v'chiyuv oshem toli l'chsheibana beis hamikdash. As if you do a malacha bin hashmoshes, you'll be chayiv not to bring a korban chatas, because bin hashmoshes is a suffix. So you'll bring a oshem toli to beis hamikdash will be built. That's what the Alter Rebbe wrote lechatchila. But in the final version of the Seder Achnasa Shabbos, the Alter Rebbe took those words out. So the Rebbe says, the famous word the Rebbe quoted a lot of times, that when something, when there was shtar sheyeshel of irur, in the sky of a basin, that something that there was a irur, there was a something that was somebody claimed that it's made an allegation that it's false, and the basin said that it's okay, huh?
It's stronger.
Yeah.
It's even stronger. So the fact knows that the Rebbe says, not pshat, the fact that the Rebbe wrote it here, and that Kilo, it gives it more legitimacy. And the fact that the Rebbe first wrote it, and then he took it out. So the fact that he took it out is even much stronger that the Fedish, you don't pass, you don't do it. Now, the truth is, the Mishnah Brura also doesn't bring, the Rebbe doesn't mention the Sikh, I'm saying, the Mishnah Brura doesn't bring it down.
Da zwei Sachen, I'm sorry if I... Sie mir darf schreiben, sie nicht. Okay.
Ein minute. I'll get to that in a second. The Ar Poskim, by the way, I was checking out, Moshel Darach HaShulchan and the Kaf HaChaim, they all quote the Mogen Avram in the Lashon the way it was in the older prints. Eichet Maisa Be'echad Shavara. In other words, She'echad Over Avera. Also, there you could clearly say the word of the Rebbe. They don't, they saw the earlier prints or not, they say, but Poel Mamish, the Rebbe says that from the Alter Rebbe, it's clearly Mashma Nishtazai. From Poel Mamish, and the Rebbe says, whatever you're going to say, Poel Mamish, Nishke Heret, Nishke Zen.
My question is, why on Shabbos?
Huh?
I have a question, Shabbos. If it's Negeya, it's all Chiyuvim. Why in the Shabbos?
Enochanami.
Gut, he brings
Nein,
a place.
Ja, nein, weil es das gut der Shabbos, das Rebbe, das wo ausbringen die Ernstkeit von Shabbos, bringt mir Dogma. Also again, going to call it a kula.
There's another word, right. So now there's another thing. There's one word which there's the Shilas of Shuvas and Chaim Falagi, one of the famous Sfardish Rabbonim who wrote many Sfarim. He wrote the Shilas of Shuvas slave Chaim. A lot of his Sfarim he called Chaim, Ruach Chaim, big mechaber. So he writes there in the Shilas of Shuvas, he has a few simonim on this thing. And he writes, he has a whole arichis, and he writes, has interesting word that he says. He says basically what comes out, doesn't Mamish say it up, Mamish kloraf and finger, but that's what comes up Mamish pretty. If you put everything he says together, it comes out very clear. He seems very clearly to learn about Pel Mamish, you will have to bring a carbon when Moshiach comes. But he says, writing it down is nish kein. He says, why? He says, when Moshiach will come, Moshiach wird sein moirach v'doin, Moshiach wird schmecken am Mensch, and when them sagen, welche Avedas, which Avedas he did, Moshiach will smell through the person, he says, and he'll tell us what you need to do, which karbanis you need to bring. So he says, what you need to, like, in other words, Moshiach will already tell you, what, you can rely on Moshiach to tell you what, maybe you'll forget. This is his word. From all other poskim is not mashmazai, because the other poskim that definitely those that write it, you have to write it down. Clearly, don't learn that the Quran Mashiach and Ulugufi Shalini Yesh Lohar the Moirach V'Doin the Rebbe himself in the Rambam the Moshel doesn't hold that Mashiach has to be Moirach V'Doin right in the beginning. Moirach V'Doin, according to the Rambam at least, is not a davar hamuchrach for Mashiach. Of course, Mashiach will have it in Dalamaisis, but it's not absolute necessity. When Favos Na'in from Teira L'Chatchila Falos Mizach, you don't rely on in Ruach HaKodesh to tell you what if you have to bring carbon. There's such a mahalach that according to the word of Lev Chaim comes out that the fact that it doesn't brought down in halacha doesn't mean you won't have to bring the carbon. It just means you don't have to write it. He says this is Rabbi Shmuel wrote it. This midas chassidus. It's to remember his avedas chatosi nagdisam mit zutshuva on it. He brings
Beflat a doige ben a Sach, that's mein eigene doige ben a, was gekriegt mit the Rabbanon, and he almost did, he did. That itself brought him extra.
Right. Or he says this, or the Gemara says you have to write down which kazayis you weigh. It doesn't mean if you're already writing. It's a shtickle of doich. He's saying if you're already writing. So that Gemara says if you're already writing that you ate the chaylev, so already write kazayis beinin yachati. But he wants to learn pshat. So shtickle of doich. He wants to learn pshat. It's not that you have to write l'chatchilah. So midas chassidus, you write. If you're writing, you're telling you what to write. There's such a mahalach, but again, the Rebbe doesn't learn that way, and from most other Mefarshim doesn't seem that they went with this mahalach. So now, there's another two nekudas here that I want to mention before I get to the point of the Rebbe's beer. The other nekudas are that the Chidushei Haran writes over here that Rab Shmuel only wrote that will bring a carbon chatas if the Beis HaMikdash would be built b'yom mov in his days. Why? Because if the Beis HaMikdash is built after he passes away, it's a chatas shemesu ba'ileh. As a korban chatas, there's a halacha that if somebody is chayav a korban, yeah. 1 second. That is a korban chatas that the bailim, if somebody passed away, and he even let's say he designated the korban to bring. Beis HaMikdash stood, and somebody had to bring a korban chatas, and he designated it, and then he passed away. You don't bring it. I think it's kill whatever it's. So he says. He's not chayiv to bring the korban chatas after he passes away. And you see Rashi also Masechta Yuman, that Gemara about somebody eating chazayis chaylev. Rashi says maybe the Beis HaMikdash will build biyomov in his day. And the Rebbe learns clearly that it has to be biyomov. And now, what's the other option? The other option is the reason why I'm pointing this out is because some people could say because the Arizal says like this. Hard to understand what's point that is. The Rizal writes in a few places. No, the famous thing is brought down Chassidus number of times, but Rebbe brings down in Tanya that every neshama has to come to Gilgal to fulfill all the mitzvahs. So the Rizal says, what about the mitzvahs that are only able to be fulfilled in times of the Beis HaMikdash like Karbanis? Says the neshama will have to come to Gilgal when Moshiach will come. The neshamas will come down to Gilgal before they'll.
Melech is mitzvah also.
The mitzvahs are pleased, the melech is mitzvah, but the mitzvahs so the regular mitzvahs that are dependent on each person, he's not yaitza. He has to come down to Gilgal to do it. So he says, this is the remez that Rabbi Shmuel had when he wrote Al Pinkasa, when he wrote on his thing that when the Beis HaMikdash should be built, I'll bring a Chata Shmeina. The remez was to this. Was Punkt meint Arizal da? Pshat comes out, what he's trying to say is that he's going to come down to Gilgal again, and then he'll bring a Korban Chatas. Pshaila is, Pashat and Havana, what's Pshat here? If a person comes to Gilgal, he can't bring a Korban Chatas for an Aveda that he did in the previous Gilgal. The other pshat he could learn, which Lania's deity is much more neutal, what she's trying to say, I'll soon tell you another pshat, but it's hard with that Rizal, is that he'll come down to Gilgal and he'll do an Aveda b'shegig. He'll bring a korban chatas to be mechaper, and that already will be mechaper on that. In other words, al pi halach, it's not going to be mechaper on it, because al pi halach, one chatas, one aveda, but that Gilgal, one aveda is not mechaper, another aveda, but bruchni is so in yonim. To say he'll bring now stam lohoyer, and you'll soon see why that's connected with chatas shmeina. I'll say another word before I continue with that Rizal's word. The other poskim say, why did Rabbi Shmuel let you say chatas shmeina, fat korban chatas? He said because Rabbi Shmuel ben the halacha that whoever recites the parsha the chatas, if he brought a chatas, if you do tshuva, it's mechaper. And the Rebbe said that somebody does an aveda b'zman hazeh. The Rebbe speaks about a gate and other things. Even Rabbi Shmuel would say they'll have to bring korban chatas, but the tshuva that he did b'zman hazeh, legabi, now it's a complete tshuva. Until Moshiach comes, his tshuva is complete. He has all the miles of about tshuva. But Moshiach will come, he'll have to bring a korban. Because the Peil Mamash, you can't take him, the mitzvahs have to be done with Gashmi. So Korban Gashmi can't be substituted with saying Parashas Chatas and das. Some poskim say, what Pshat Chatas Shmeina? Chatas Shmeina meant that like this, until now, Habchashtikol Yitzige when the Korban Chatas by saying the words. When Moshiach will come, I'll bring a real karmuchatas. Shmeina means it's gonna be begashmis. You know, it's gonna be yoytzel l'chol hadays. It's not just gonna be stam a carbon. But so the Gabi, this word also, I think they say, some people say the word, they'll bring a chata shmeina means that it'll bring, even though, I don't say they shepherd to dariza, but the same teichen, they say that even though he only did aveda bigilgul akoidem, but he'll do an aveda, he'll end up, because he did an aveda b'shegig, then he's going to end up doing aveda b'shegig now, and the karb mechatas he'll make a feta karb mechatas, so that extra, that kind, will be moved, will that additional schmaltz, the karb mechatas. Yeah, we'll take, the place.
That's what I said.
We'll also take away that aveda then. There's another pshat here, which Lev Chaim he himself learns. He says that what he's trying to say, even though it's hard to learn pshat in the Kosh the Verta, that he's like this, is that by Tchias HaMesim he'll stand up and bring a karb mechatas. But Tchias HaMesim is not a gilgul. Tchias HaMesim is the same goof. So that's a musa who'll bring karb mechatas. Now here the Rebbe, the Beni Shchai disagrees with this. The Rebbe also clearly learns, says Tchias HaMesim is panim chadoshes. Even though it's taka the same goof in Talomaises, but it's a panim chadoshes. It's not shaykh to say al pi halacha that goof that stands up at Tchias HaMesim has to bring a korban for an aveda did before. The truth is that Rabbi Galitsky in his sefer I think says al pi longman al pi chakira. You could say there's two opinions how Tchias HaMesim will happen. Either will happen through the etzem luz, or the Pirkei Rabbi Eliezer holds that the whole body will come from the rat of the body. Not sure it'll be an actual part of the body remains. It's the whole body is going to be renewed. So it says we can zogin b'derech afshir that if you say that the etzem luz will remain, it's not mamish panim chadashis. The goof that comes is still a continuation of the previous goof. If it's completely a new thing, it is a b'cholay and that's tam lomdas. But I want to get to the Rebbe's beard.
The pan of is you could put something back into a kiln and it comes.
Good, but that fine. Fine. But the word is it a hemshech? Is it? So you have it's a whatever. But I wanted the Rebbe. I think he's not making up on his own. The Rebbe is a whole sikh. The Rebbe that taking them. In the famous sikha about Tchias HaMesim, people that will get up at Tchias HaMesim, they're going to be Tmei Meis. The whole sikha of the Rebbe about it. The Rebbe mentions, I think, this word. Not this word, like Abi this, but, and the Rebbe touches upon this thing. But getting back to this thing over here. The Rebbe says the Rebbe's beer is like this. The Rebbe goes through a whole arichis, but the point of the Rebbe says is like this. It's a chiddush of the Rebbe, but a very verstandig word. In order for a person to be chayiv a karb mechatas, a person has to understand. He doesn't know karb mechatas. You did the aveda by mistake. It's a shegi, but he has to have an awareness that how serious an aveda b'shegig is. The same way b'mezid, you can't kill someone unless you give him a hasra and he understands what he's doing. Al-derech is a shegig, even though by a shegig he doesn't know what he's doing it by mistake, but in concept he has to have an awareness b'chlal how severe an aveda b'shegig is. And if he knows that he has to bring a karb mechatas, it gives him an understanding how serious aveda is.
Before doing it, of course.
Yeah. Now, if a person, to him, the whole idea of bringing karb mechatas is not real, because he doesn't see the Beis HaMikdash. So, Mamela, to him, the whole severity of a chait, of a sin done by mistake, is not there. Because even he knows that Torah says if you do a sin by mistake, you have to bring karb mechatas. But to him, the karb mechatas isn't real. If the karb mechatas isn't real, so the aveda b'sheged that he did is not so severe, because he doesn't really think it's going to lead to karb mechatas. Mamela, such a person, if he actually did an aveda, is not going to chayiv to bring a karb mechatas. Because he doesn't have the awareness of understanding the Rebbe's mechadish word, that even by shegig you have to have a certain understanding of what that aveda is, that is severe enough that you have to bring a carbon for it. So the Rebbe says, Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha, the Amoraim in the Gemara, where said you have to write it, is because by them that they were chodder, they were so durknum that it was real in their eyes that it shackled them to bring a carbon chatas. So for them they had to write it. For us, the Rebbe says even if it's a suffix, when the Choshech HaGolus to sagen that every year he had heard us, but er dead heard us, he hears that Moshiach is coming. Does it affect his actions? So for him, If you want to say Zolzan, it's a suffix. Maybe he's permeated with that understanding enough that he realizes that it's Aveda B'Shegi Kalita carbon. If it's only a suffix, you can't bring a carbon to the Beis HaMikdash, it's Chulon Lazara. That's the Rebbe's beard. The Rebbe adds one word to Rabbi Shlomo ben Elisha that in his days, the Roman emperor gave permission to build a Beis HaMikdash. So when he wrote it was taka a realistic thing that the Beis HaMikdash should be built. But that doesn't explain the Gemara Masechta Yuma, which is much after that Rebbe Shmuel. But B'chlal, that's a very geschmack beat of the Rebbe, how it's all totally in how you feel about Mashiach. Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha does, and the other the Amoraim said it for them it was real, and for them they taka have to write it.